So today is Saturday, June 14th, and it has been a minute since I've done one of these like video journals. And the one that I posted recently was a lot of the videos that I had recorded but hadn't shared. So I kind of compiled them together and just put it up really quickly. But honestly, I've been doing these videos mostly just for myself. But during the second trimester, I just didn't really have the time to record anything. You know, I have a 2-year-old and just keeping him entertained and active, and also not wanting him in the videos, which is very difficult when pretty much my whole entire life revolves around him. So I am, of course, in the third trimester now. I am 36 weeks and let me think, 4 days? Yes. So we're getting there. We are definitely getting there in this pregnancy. She really could come anytime soon. I don't know how soon she would be here, but she could come very soon. And so I don't know if I mentioned that in my videos, but we are having a girl. And so I'm very excited. I've just been doing a little bit of like straightening up around the house. I have done a little bit of laundry today where I washed like some of the things I got for her. I had purchased some more like receiving blankets, and my husband wanted us to switch to like more like cotton, everything being cotton as opposed to polyester. So I kind of went through a lot of the stuff that I had for my son when he was a baby and kind of just bagged up anything that was polyester. So I'm probably just going to donate a lot of that. But oh my gosh, as you'll know, I never made it to the third trimester when I was pregnant with my son. So this is like a totally new experience for me, and it's been interesting. Like, pregnancy in the third trimester is exhausting. It's a lot. And there's a lot of like things I just didn't realize that you experience, but it's been good. We've had a good pregnancy so far. Actually, yesterday I thought I was going into labor. I really did. I had a midwife appointment at, oh gosh, what time was it? The midwife appointment was at 1:30, and right before she got there, I had a couple of contractions, and I just assumed they were Braxton Hicks. Excuse me. I've been really horrible at like timing the Braxton Hicks to make sure that I'm not actually going into labor because I'm usually busy. I'm usually doing other things. So I'm not really paying that much attention to them. And then my Braxton Hicks contractions, sometimes they're mild, sometimes they're a little bit more intense, and it's like fluctuates. So generally, if I have like a mild contraction, intense contraction, it goes back to being mild. I'm like, it's Braxton Hicks. So I was having these like pretty consistent back-to-back contractions like right before she came, and I didn't really time them. So when the midwife came, she was like, and while she was there, I was still having them. And I said, I've been like still having these Braxton Hicks contractions, where I think they are, I don't really know, but they haven't stopped. Like, they keep coming, and usually if I'm moving around or get up and walk or do something else, they subside, and I don't really have that many back-to-back. I've never had that many back-to-back. And so she was like, oh, I'll check your cervix, see where you're at. So she said I was 3 centimeters dilated, and I'm like 90% effaced. That was on Thursday. She told me that. And so she was like, just keep monitoring them, and if anything changes, let us know. So they have a phone number that I can call that is like for if you're going into labor. And I don't know if I even mentioned this in my other videos, but I am doing a home birth. So we are doing a home birth. And anyway, so I was like, okay, I will just kind of keep track. So she left, and then I still continued to have the contractions. Oh, she recommended that I take a hot bath, or not a hot bath, a bath, a warm bath. And so I didn't get a chance to because I needed to go to the grocery store and pick up some stuff for dinner. So I ended up just like doing a few things around the house, trying to see if maybe it would subside. Still didn't subside. I was still continuously having these contractions, and I was tracking them, but not doing the best job because, you know, I have my son and he wanted something to eat, and then he wanted to do something else, and we're like, I'm just trying to like take care of him while trying to also track the contractions, and I would forget to turn off the timer, or I would forget to turn it on. So I kind of did like an average, and I'm like, okay, let's say they're 2 minutes long and they're 5 minutes apart from what I'm looking at from the app that I was using. So I ended up just being like, let me go ahead and call the midwives and let them know. So I called in the line, and one of the midwives picked up, and she just talked to me for a bit. And she said, well, we'll check in with you like in a half hour and see how things are going, a half hour, an hour. So I left, went to the grocery store, did some things while I was out, and then I got a phone call, and some of the other midwives called me and asked if they could come to the house and just kind of check and see where I was, like if I was dilated anymore. And so they came over and they did like a little check. I was still 3 centimeters dilated, still kind of in the same position. And so they came around like 4:30, I think, or 3:30ish. No, I think 4:30. I gotta go get my son. He's waking up from his nap. So they were, like I said, they came around, I think 4:30, or left around, I can't remember what time they were there, but all I know is I was still having the contractions until like 6:30. And they weren't getting like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like they were mild, and there were a few that were intense, but they would go back to being mild. So it's kind of like a back and forth type of thing. But I never went into labor. So they're most likely still Braxton Hicks and not actual like early labor contractions. So it's just really hard to like tell like if I was in labor. So if anyone remembers, or anyone that has seen like videos about when I gave birth to my son, he came early. He was 28 weeks and 5 days early. And so when I went into labor, I knew when I was in early labor. But the thing is that I was in hospital, right? I don't have a toddler to take care of. I'm not moving around. I'm just sitting on a bed, hooked up to a machine, and I'm just like, in tune with my body a little bit more. And I had never had Braxton Hicks contractions because I was only 28 weeks when my water broke. So, yeah. So I knew I was in early labor because the first contraction I felt was mild, like a 2. I give it like a rating of a 2 as far as pain. And so I went from like having like these mild cramps. I felt like a cramp, and I never really had period cramps, so I had nothing to compare it to. So that's the only thing I could say. It was like a period cramp. And then, so they were like a 2. And then that was for like 45 minutes. And then I had a really intense contraction. And when that happened, I knew I was in active labor, like I knew. Because it just got stronger and it was still like consistent. And I think I only had like maybe 3 or 4 active labor contractions before he was born. So this is different. I've been having Braxton Hicks contractions since like whenever the week is that they tell you that you usually start having them in the 3rd trimester. Right away. Just immediately was having them. I want to say maybe since 30 weeks, if not a little. Well, yeah, probably around 30 weeks is when I started having them. And so, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I have them a lot. I've had them a lot more as I've gotten further along in the pregnancy. But, yeah, so that happened. And what's nice is, like, I can still give birth at home because I am past 36 weeks. They usually want you to make it to 36 weeks with the birthing center I'm going to. Some places require you to make it to 37, but this particular birthing center, they're like, we've like helped women with births at like 36 weeks. But sometimes your baby might have to go to the hospital. That's my thing you have to be aware of. But anyway, I'm hoping he's calling me. Hold on. So anyway, what was I saying? I don't even remember it. Yeah, I have been having these Braxton Hicks contractions off and on for quite a while now, and I don't know. I'm pretty much in the safe zone if I go into labor and have my baby, which is nice to know. So the other thing I just wanted to say is that I'm supposed to go get my birthing tub on Monday, so I'm hoping she doesn't come before that. So yeah, that's where we're at in this pregnancy. I'm super excited. I'm pretty much at the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, can't wait till she gets here because I just want to hold her. She's such a little mover. Like, she just moves so much. And even like last night, I'm pretty sure it was like her fist was like poking the side, my side, my left side. And she just had it, was just holding it there. And I was like rubbing her little, if that was her fist. I'm assuming it was her fist, just because of how it felt. Like maybe she had it balled up and she was just pressing it up against the side of my left side. But I was just like rubbing it, trying to get her to kind of relax because I sleep on the left side. And I couldn't sleep because it was just like that little push from her little hand. And I'm just like, you are so cute. Like, I just cannot wait to hold you in my arms and get my little baby girl snuggles in. But we're excited. July 9th is my due date, so just waiting to just get through these final weeks. And I don't know, hopefully she comes a little early. Like, I'd be fine if she came in June. Have a June baby instead of a July baby. Okay, so like I said before, it's actually very hard to do any type of video recording with my son because he is like very much all attention on him. And so I think a lot of times if he hears me talking, he thinks I'm on the phone. And so he needs help with this, I need help with that. And he's like, mama, 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 mama. So like, I usually can only do videos when he's taking a nap. But when he's taking a nap, I'm doing other things. I'm doing my self-care, or I'm taking a nap if I can, or doing laundry or whatever, prepping for dinner. Like, I'm doing things that I need to get done for those 2 hours that he naps. And I don't really think to pick up the camera and kind of like document what's been going on with this pregnancy. And I really wish I would have just taken a few minutes. But I mean, it's been great. The second trimester was pretty easy. Like, I don't really remember much about it that was challenging. The third trimester, I would say, has been the most challenging for me because it's a new experience. Even though this is my second pregnancy, like, this whole thing is new to me. And like, I didn't have any tiredness this first trimester like I did with my first child, but it's my first pregnancy. But the third trimester tiredness that hit day one was like, I'm exhausted, I'm so tired. And the more weight that I've gained during the pregnancy, like I want to say the second trimester, I really didn't feel that heavy. And like the first 3-ish weeks in the third trimester, I didn't feel that heavy either. But like now I'm feeling it. Like, I'm just like, she's gotten bigger and she's probably like 6 pounds now. That little bit of extra weight has just made me feel so sluggish. And I'm very active. I haven't been as active with my exercise routine as I was in the first and second trimester and the third trimester because I'm just like so tired. But I take my son out to the park because it's summertime. We go to the park like twice a day. We go for a walk. Like, we do a lot. Like, we're out, we're constantly moving. I don't sit a lot. And I'm constantly taking him places and doing things with him. We go to the library multiple times a week. So I'm out with him at least 3 times a day. Doing things for him mostly, and then getting errands done that I need to get done. So I'm not really resting as much as I probably should. But I told my husband, I'm like, if I figure out that I'm in early labor, I'm taking a nap. I'm gonna eat some food. I'm gonna like drink some, like hydrate and get all like hydrated, eat, and then I'm gonna take a nap. Try to take a nap. I know a lot of people are like, oh, how can you take naps while you're having contractions? I probably could, because my contractions, even with the Braxton Hicks, are not that bad. So, and my contractions with my first pregnancy weren't that bad. Yes, honey bunny. What do you need? What do you need, honey? But anyway, I'm going to make some food for my son to eat and sit down and relax for a little bit. I've been relaxing all day, which has been great. But like I said, these last like final weeks, I've just been really exhausted. And I don't know if I'm going to make another video for a while. I might do some like personal journaling for myself, video journals. when she gets here, just like what it's like being a mom of two, toddler and a baby. But it had been a little bit hard to making videos after my mom passed 3 months ago. So there was also that, which is another reason why I wasn't like picking up the camera. But I really do want to like document my journey because I want to be able to look back at it. And then, I mean, hey, maybe if I post it on YouTube, maybe someone who is in their 40s as well and wanting to have children, maybe it'll be like, I don't know, encouragement for them or whatever. Or just being able to like go through the same journey together for other women that are also my age that have started having children or have young children later in age. But that's about it. Just gonna make something for him to eat and we'll see what happens. Next video, I'm probably like, I already have the baby and settling in as a mom of two. So it is June 17th, Tuesday, and I just got home. I took my toddler to the library for their little toddler time, and then we ran some errands. We went and did a Facebook pickup, marketplace pickup, and then we went and ran to Target, and I got a few things there. So he's taking a nap, which has been such a struggle. I don't know, anybody that has a 2-year-old knows, like they end up dropping like that second nap that they have, which he dropped that a while ago when he was like 1.5, I think. And then he's been down to 1 nap, but he has been refusing most days to go to sleep. So generally, if I take him out and we will like go to the library, we'll go to the park, and then we'll come home and usually he'll fall asleep. But sometimes we could be out running all day and he will still be awake till like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then he'll want to fall asleep at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, honey, no, we can't do that. So he's down and it is a little bit after 12:30. And I am going to eat lunch in a minute because I have to take him to another event at 1:30. So he usually takes a 2-hour nap. So depending on how sleepy he is, I may or may not take him to that. One of my friends invited us to go, and she has a almost 2-year-old who's like his little bestie. They're so cute together. But it's great having mom friends because you get someone that you can do things with. And one of my good friends, she just moved to the area like 8 minutes from our house, literally 8 minutes. But anyway, so I am really out of breath. 3rd trimester, guys. I'm done. I am 37 weeks tomorrow. So that's how far along I am. And honestly, she can come a little earlier than her due date because I'm ready. But I'm just gonna, I don't know, maybe just show you guys what I got, which isn't like a lot of things, but I picked up something for my toddler, and that was from Facebook Marketplace. And he already actually has one of these toys, but when I got it off of Facebook Marketplace, I didn't realize that it was missing some pieces, and I only paid $5 for it. And I actually saw it brand new in the store, like at Kohl's, for $70. Couldn't believe it. So then another lady was selling hers on Marketplace for $5. So I'm gonna donate the other one to Goodwill and then clean this one up and let him play with it. But it's basically like a toddler DJ booth. So this is the toddler DJ booth. And this is what we're missing from the one that we had. And I actually had thought about buying one on eBay, but people are selling these for like 15 bucks. And I just bought the whole thing for $5. Like, why not? And so there's like a little microphone. He loves this thing. It's super cute. But what's even cuter is this recorder. This little recorder is the piece that was missing, and he can record his music on there, take it out like a little MP3 player, and it has headphones. Is this not the cutest thing? And I'm pretty sure that they update this thing. The one at Kohl's might be a little different. I don't know how old this one is, but literally it's pretty much the same as what he has. Honestly, it's just a different color. I think it's pretty much the same. Yeah, $5. And he will play with this thing for a minute. And I'm just using like the 7th generation cleaning spray to clean it up. I had the wipes, but I ran out. I really do like the wipes for cleaning up his toys. But I'm gonna get this all cleaned up for him, and then when he wakes up, he'll have a little fun toy to play with. And then, like I said, I went to Target And I really only went to Target for a couple things. Oh, and you know what else I went? I forgot. I went to Home Goods, but I went to Target and couldn't find what I was looking for there specifically. But I don't know if anyone knows who Tabitha Brown is, but look her up on Instagram. She's awesome. But she has these ice cream containers. They were $2.50. They were on clearance. I saw them last month, so I got 2 of them because I actually just made some ice cream yesterday and I don't have any like containers to put the ice cream in, so I've just been using Tupperware that can be frozen. But I'm so glad I saw these. I'm like, these are super cute for $2.50, and they only had 2, so I think they only had 2 left. I'm kind of wishing I would have paid more attention because I would have just gotten all of them. I should have just bought all of them, but I think 2 is enough. And then I went to Home Goods, and I just was walking around, just really honestly just trying to kill some time because I wanted him to take a nap. And I was already out in the area because of the Facebook Marketplace pickup. And I hate driving all the way somewhere and then like doing something for 2 minutes and then leaving to go back home because it was like a 15-minute drive to get to the lady's house. So I'm like, we'll just bum around. So I got these. I think these would be a good little snack postpartum or even during labor. Those are from Home Goods. So I feel like they're cheaper than buying them from the store, I think. I hope so. I could be wrong. And then I just got him some little juice boxes because he saw them and he was like, I want a juice box. And those are like the good kind. And then I saw this little snack container that spins. And I just got him some more Play-Doh that has like 10 colors in it. 10 pack, which is great because he's mixed all of his colors together. So I got that. Oh, and then I got baby girl some 100% cotton bibs because I realized I didn't have any that were 100% cotton. And my husband is like, I want you to switch everything to cotton. I'm like, okay, honey, we can do that. So somewhere on here it says it's cotton. Oh, the tag. The front is cotton, and there's a little bit of polyester, which honestly, not a big deal. At least to me. This one's 100% cotton. So I think I thought these were the same. I might take these back and get another one of these. But because these are cotton all the way through. Yeah, I might end up taking these back, but that's okay. So that's just what I got. Nothing major. Anyway, I'm really tired. I really wish that I would go take a nap, but I can't take a nap. I just can't do it. It's hard for me to take a nap because I have so much to do. I have to go downstairs and get some laundry out of the wash, switch my loads around, and then, yeah. So I did want to show you guys my bump because I forgot to do it in the other video. Okay, so I'm gonna make my sandwich and just talk a little bit about this 3rd trimester. I think I might have mentioned some stuff in the previous day, but you guys know this is my first experience with the 3rd trimester, and I might have mentioned yesterday that, or the day before yesterday, that the hardest part of this pregnancy has been the Braxton Hicks contractions. Like, it's been pretty rough. So they are very uncomfortable and sometimes they're kind of intense. Like, painful, not really. I never had period cramps. Like, I've never had period cramps. And when I was pregnant with my son and I was going into, or I was having early labor, the contractions in early labor were like a 2. That was the pain level. And then when I went to active labor, it was like, oh gosh, maybe a 6. Probably not even that. I think it was more, not painful, but more intense. And then everything was happening so quickly as far as me getting ready to like give birth, and like I never experienced it before, so it wasn't so much painful as it was intense. Well, these Braxton Hicks contractions, it's like, I've been having them since the beginning of the 3rd trimester. Whenever the date is that they tell you that you would normally start to have them, I started having them immediately. And they weren't very frequent. They were occasional. And they weren't like intense, they were mild. But as I've gotten further along in the pregnancy, they become more frequent, they become more intense. I don't know if I mentioned yesterday or the day before that I thought I was in labor last Thursday because I had Braxton Hicks contractions from a little bit before 1:30 until almost 6:30, literally, just consistently having these Braxton Hicks contractions. So I had an appointment with my midwife that day, and she was coming at 1:30, so right before she came is when they started. But I noticed that the ones that I was having before she came, they were closer together, but I didn't have time to really like time them. So then she came and I was still having them, and I'm just like, they just seem so close together. I don't know, and I just wasn't timing them, but I mentioned it to her, and she's like, oh, okay, cool. Let me check your cervix. If you want, I can do that for you. Otherwise, just monitor them and let me know if they become more intense as the day goes on. So I said, yeah, go ahead, check my cervix. I was 3 centimeters dilated and 90% effaced. So, I mean, that's cool. That's good. It means we're progressing. We're still something starting. So she left. She was there for like an hour. She left around 2:30. And I was like, she told me to take a bath. She's like, take a bath, but I can't take a bath. I have a toddler. I have to wait till my husband gets home. So what I did was I decided to like go out and run some errands. I had to go pick up food for dinner. So I left the house, and I figured if I move around and do other things, maybe it'll like stop. No, the whole time while I was out, just consistent. I was just so uncomfortable. So I got my shopping done, and then the midwives called me again, and there was 2 other midwives that asked if they could come to the house, and they were like, we'll come around 4:30. We just want to check. Because I forgot. So when my midwife left, I called her back, and I said, I'm still having the contractions, and I'm feeling it in my back. I wasn't feeling it in my back before. I'm feeling it in my back now. She said, okay. I'll check back with you in like a half hour. And then that's when I like went and did my errands and stuff. And she didn't call me back. However, another midwife called me back and asked if she and another midwife could come to the house around like 4:30. So I was like, sure. I'm out running errands. I dropped my son off at my friend's house and asked if he could stay there. So then they came over to the house around 4:30, checked me again. Everything was fine. Still 3 centimeters, still 90% effaced. Nothing had changed. I was still having contractions while they were there, just kept having them. They were like, do the bath, let us know if anything changes. And I was like, okay. They said, but definitely let us know. Even if your contractions are 10 minutes apart, let us know. Because they had an experience with another mom who they went to check on her, and then she was like fine, everything was good. They left and she went into labor like not even that long after. I think they said maybe 5 hours later, like she had the baby. She was like getting ready to have the baby. Like everything happened super quick. And because everything happened super quick when I was going through labor with my son, they were like, you're probably gonna have the same experience where everything's gonna happen super quick. So we want to make sure that, keep in touch, let us know. I was like, sure. So I didn't think anything of it. I just kept having the contractions. Nothing was changing. Like the intensity, and that was the thing too. It's like, how are you supposed to tell the difference between a Braxton Hicks and early labor contractions? Because I feel like my early labor contractions, when I had them before, were like an intensity of level 2. These, more of an intensity level of like 4. And up and down. So some intense, some not intense. So I figured because I'm having like mild ones, intense, mild, intense, that this wasn't labor. Like I wasn't in early labor because it wasn't like mild, intense. Right? Is that, I don't know. Whatever. But they were about 2 minutes long and 5 minutes apart. So yeah, that was that. And then around 6:30, completely stopped. and went to being like more irregular, like so irregular that I wasn't like, I'm like, okay, I guess this is it. I'm done. Back to normal. So that was fun. But I feel like, I don't know. It's just, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Braxton Hicks contractions. I have said that I would prefer to be in labor and having labor contractions, because once you have your labor contractions, your baby comes and you're done. You're not having like every day having to go through this every single day. And like I said, it's not super painful or anything. It's just uncomfortable, you know? It's just uncomfortable. And it has been sometimes where it was a little bit like, ooh, like I felt a little bit like, this is not the best feeling in the world. Like a pain level of like 6. You know, us women, we were built for this. We were made for this. I'll just speak on my own experience, I guess. Like, I don't know what my labor contractions are going to be like. I have no idea. Because apparently I can't base them on my first pregnancy, and these Braxton Hicks contractions are just annoying. Yeah, so that's probably my only complaint about the 3rd trimester. Other than also the frequent urination at night. Some nights are worse than others. Oh, and the sciatica pain. I have had not, it's kind of stopped. I don't know what happened. I haven't had sciatica pain for like a couple weeks now, I noticed. But before, I was having it every night. I'd like get up to go to the bathroom and felt like an old lady. I'm like, oh my gosh, my butt, my leg, I can't walk. I feel like I can't walk. I actually honestly felt like crawling into the bathroom. Like that's how painful the sciatica pain was. And I do the stretches. I haven't really had time to do them before bed, but sometimes I'll do the stretches during the day if like I feel it more. But there were nights where I'd wake up and I felt just like my body was falling apart. Like I was just had no strength at all. And I'm like, if I have a baby, if I go into labor at night, I don't even know if I'm gonna have the energy level for this. Because first of all, I don't get any sleep. That's another thing, as I have a really bad pregnancy insomnia. I hardly get any sleep. That's why I look tired. Like, look at my face. I look tired. I had someone tell me that. Oh, they saw me yesterday and they were like, they texted me today and they're like, hope everything's okay. You just look really tired. Yes, because I am. I am very tired. I have a toddler and I don't get any sleep at night because my brain won't shut off at all. Like, and it's not even, what's funny is it's not even like it's my body. Like, I don't even need a pregnancy pill. Like, I haven't used a pregnancy pill the whole pregnancy. And the last time I was pregnant, I remember using mine, but and I don't use a pregnancy pillow. I don't have any like pain in my arms or like nothing in my arms or legs. Like, my body feels fine when I'm lying down and sleeping or trying to go to sleep. It's my brain. It's like my brain won't shut off. And I will be lying there just awake. Like I just drank 2 cups of coffee. Like, my husband drinks coffee before bed and still goes to sleep. I don't understand how he does that. But me, I'm lying there and I'm just like trying not to think about anything. I don't get on my phone. I try not to get on my phone. Sometimes, occasionally I will. Because sometimes I'll be thinking about something having to do with the pregnancy, or I need to buy something, or I need to get something. And I'm on Amazon. I'm like, I gotta order this because I forgot to get this, or I don't know. Making my shopping list for the next day. And sometimes I'm not even thinking about anything. Sometimes I'm just like lying there. And I'm just like, I'm not going to sleep. Like, I'm wide awake. And I don't feel tired when I'm wide awake, lying in bed. I don't feel sleepy. I don't feel tired till the next day. It's annoying. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of been my situation with like the pregnancy, the 3rd trimester. The 2nd trimester was cool. I don't really have any complaints about the 2nd trimester. Honestly, if I even remember the 2nd trimester. Okay, I need to get a better knife. Yeah, so the 2nd trimester was so chill, and and I had so much energy. I was working out every single day. Kind of wishing I was doing more of my labor prep workouts then. Also wishing I had spent more time preparing the things I needed to prepare before the baby got here. Because I still have things that I need to do. Just around the house. Like, I didn't do, like, a lot of people get the nesting phase. I didn't have the nesting. The need to, like, clean and organize. I just made myself do it, but it wasn't until I was in the 3rd trimester and I was tired. And I was like, ugh, I don't really feel like doing any of this stuff. I need to figure out, like, where the baby's going to sleep. Like, where's her bassinet going to go in the bedroom? And just cleaning up the bedroom a little more to accommodate for her. Getting my cart ready to go. I didn't even do a hospital bag. Because I don't know if I mentioned this, I am doing a home birth. But I can only do a home birth if I make it to, like, past 36 weeks. Like, that's their thing. Like, you can't just, like, you would have to go to the hospital. So I had no idea if my baby was going to come early or if I was going to be able to do a home birth. But I didn't even do a hospital bag, and just in case I didn't. And honestly, it didn't really matter. My hospital was like 5 minutes from my house. So if I didn't do a hospital bag, my husband would just bring everything that I needed to me. Because when I was pregnant with, or when I went to labor with my first, I didn't have a hospital bag prepared. My water broke at 28 weeks, and I was like, I was going to do everything in the 3rd trimester. And you would think I would have prepared myself for the 2nd trimester just in case. I didn't. So, anyway, I've made my sandwich. No, you're not supposed to eat, like, deli meat unless it's cooked. I keep forgetting. I honestly keep forgetting. And I just made this whole sandwich, and I was like, oh, I did it again. I've only had, like, 3 sandwiches the whole pregnancy. Maybe, like, this is probably the 3rd sandwich I've had. Usually I'm eating tuna fish sandwich. And you can have tuna. You have to get tuna that is low, that doesn't have, like, a high mercury content. And there are brands out there that don't. Like, there's a brand I get at Costco. I can't think of the name. Safe Catch or something like that. Completely safe for pregnancy. And then I think there's one I was getting from Walmart. They also are pretty safe. Here's my little sandwich. I just did some, like, I think this is buffalo turkey. I put some cheese on there, did mustard, lettuce and tomato. You can't really see everything, but that is my lunch. And I have a protein drink that I'm going to drink. I'm going to drink my magnesium drink. What else? I drink more water. That's my other problem. I think I'm having a lot of breast infections because I'm not drinking enough water. I will admit that I'm not drinking enough water. I've been trying. I have, like, a cup that I fill up. I have a couple of cups. I have a big one that's, like, I don't know, 62 ounces or something. And then I have one that's like 32 ounces. But my issue is I'm not home. And I keep forgetting the cups at home. And I'm not carrying around a giant jug. I'm not one of those people. I don't have a Stanley cup. And I'm not, if I had one, I wouldn't be walking around with my Stanley cup. Because I have a toddler that I have to carry around. I'm not carrying him, but it's too much. And then my other cup that I got, that's like a 32 ounce. I bought it specifically so I could take it out and about. And it's still a lot for me. So I ended up getting, I don't know if I have it in here. I'll go. I ended up getting this 12 ounce cup. I saw it at Ross stores. And it's 12 ounces. It fits in the pocket, side pocket of my backpack purse that I've been carrying around. And it's super, so what I do is, I drink this right before I drink the whole thing before I get to my stop, like wherever we're going. I get there, I fill it up. Because most of the places that we go to, there are water fountains, and I just fill it up. Fill it up. That way, like if I drink it before we get to our stop, I can use the bathroom while I'm there. Fill it up, drink it while I'm there. Fill it up a couple times while I'm there, drink it up, like when we go to the library. And then use the bathroom before we leave, because the problem is, like, I feel the bathroom a lot. I really do. I should sit down and eat. to go to the bathroom a lot. And so I know they say if you drink more water, that helps with the frequency of having to urinate. I don't know if I'm fully convinced. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely need to drink more water. And then I'm like retaining a lot of water too. Like I just started retaining more water. I feel like my face has gotten puffier, which I feel like maybe it's not because of water. It's probably mostly because of just the pregnancy. Because I haven't gained that much weight in pregnancy. I don't even really know how much I've gained. I haven't checked at all in the third trimester. I was tracking in the first and second, but since being in the third trimester, my scale doesn't have a battery that's working in it. So, and I really don't care. Like I don't want to focus on weight gain during pregnancy because it's not, for me, it's not that important. I can tell that I'm gaining weight appropriately. Like I'm not underweight, I'm not losing weight, and I'm not overweight during pregnancy. Okay, so I had to take a minute to eat some of my sandwich because I'm not the type of person that wants to eat on camera. I saw a video of myself eating, and I had recorded a video where I was chit-chatting about something. I never shared it on here, but it was like for myself. It was like a personal type of video. And I was watching it and I was eating breakfast and I was talking. I wasn't talking with my mouth full, but I was watching myself eat and I'm like, I was horrified. I'm like, oh my goodness, is that how I look when I eat? Like mouth wide open and then just like not attractive at all, not feminine. I was chewing fast, and I've always eaten really fast, and it's just because I grew up with so many brothers, and I had to eat my food quick or they would eat it. But excuse me. Anyway, I did want to talk about the baby's name, which unfortunately I'm probably not going to give the name on here. I don't even think I have mentioned what my son's name is. I think I've used his initials because that's what we call him, by his initials. I might have mentioned his first name, but I just wanted to talk about this about the baby name, is that, so I've decided on the name. And I say I've decided on it because I did come up with a name, and my husband and I, when I was pregnant the first time, trying to come up with names, we did a lot of names discussion on boys and girls, and I put them like in a notepad on my phone, all the names that we liked. And I always knew that my son was going to be a boy before he was ever even conceived. I always knew that. So I knew we were going to have to be like solid on a first name for him and a middle name. And I just figured my husband would choose either his dad or his grandpa's middle name. So I felt like that was already like decided. But the first name was hard. Boys' names are really difficult. So for fun, we talked about girl names. Because I mean, honestly, I feel like we should still have a girl name just in case. But I was like 99.9% sure that the first baby was a boy. Because I had 3 dreams. And I have had a lot of prophetic dreams in the past. Like, a lot of my dreams have been prophetic and they've always been, like, correct. And I always know when it's, like, a prophetic dream. So I knew these dreams I had were prophetic. But anyway, I came up with a girl name. And I told my husband and he absolutely loved it. And it's the same initials as my son. Because originally we had picked... It's funny because I don't think we picked my son's name until like the day, while I was in the hospital. I'm trying to think. I think maybe that name was on the list of names, but we hadn't decided like specifically like that was the name we're going to use. I think we thought we had more time. So anyway, so this girl name, my husband loved it. I did love it too. I did, because the nickname we were going to call her was so cute. So when we knew we were having a boy, my husband was like, I really like the name. Let's save it. So if we have a girl, we'll give her that name. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Like, things change. Your opinion of like what you liked then 2 years ago is going to be different. That's how I feel about it. But my husband was like, he's like, I love this name. We absolutely have to. And we used to talk about our second child. No, I knew our second child was a girl. And my husband and I used to talk about her before she was even conceived. Like when my son was like a year old. Even before that, we would talk about her and we would refer to her with that name. We would always call her that. That's what we would say when we would talk about her being in our lives. And so after my son was born and I got into the mom community in the area, I found out that this first name was very popular. Not only the first name, but we ran into at least 3 or 4 people who also had the first and middle name for their daughters, which I thought was crazy because that middle name is very popular. It's not a popular first name at all. Maybe it's a popular middle name. I have never heard anyone use that name, and I didn't want it to be a first name because it's an old name. But after being in the mom community and there being so many, after being in the mom community and there being so many girls with that first name, it just lost it for me. It didn't have the same like feeling that it did when I first came up with it and we fell in love with it. I was no longer in love with the name. And so when we found out we were having a girl, I ended up telling my husband, I'm like, I don't think we're going to use the name that we picked a long time ago, like 2 years ago. And he was like, what? Why not? I'm like, and I explained that to him because he even knew. He was there when we ran into the people that had the same name. They were actually, 2 of them are people he knew, like personally, whose daughters had the same first and middle name that we were going to use for our daughter. I said, the first name is too common. I said, but I do think that I want to use the middle name as the first name because it means God will increase. And my husband was like, he was actually upset about it. He was like not happy. And when I say upset, like he wasn't like angry or anything. He was disappointed. He was disappointed that I was changing the name because he liked it. But I told him also, I'm like, I feel like it's weird too to have 2 kids with the same initials. I don't want that. I really don't want that either. I want them to be different. And so, he kind of was like, oh, you sure? Why can't we just keep it? And I'm like, I don't want to keep it. I don't want to keep it. I don't want to keep that name. I don't love it anymore. I just don't love it. I don't even like it anymore. So he did say that he was fine with the middle name. He said, I actually do like the middle name as a first name. Because I actually think he, at one point, had thought we should use that as the middle name, as the first name. The middle name is the first name. Until I put the 2 together, the 2 that I came up with together. And then, yeah, so that was it. So I said, we'll have to come up with another middle name to go with the first name, the new first name. And then my mom passed away 3 months ago, and I didn't have any intentions of using my mom's name as the middle name. Even after she passed, I didn't have any intentions of doing that. And at my mom's funeral, one of her friends, out of the blue, started having a conversation with me. Can I get emotional? Hear about it because she didn't know. Like, she didn't know I was wrestling. I was wrestling with using my mom's first name as the middle name. I was. It's a unique name. My grandmother came up with it. She named my mother after my grandfather. And that name is the name that she made up off of his name. So it doesn't really mean, the meaning is just very basic. And the name is kind of like, it's not something you probably have ever heard. I'm not going to say it, but I don't think anyone has ever heard this name because I'm pretty sure. Like, I looked it up and I think I found it. I don't even know. And it didn't even, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I even Googled it and if it came up, but it is a little bit, not complicated, but it's such a unique name. You know how unique names are when you tell people your name and then they repeat it like, oh, is that how you say it? Wait, is that how you say it? Like, or people say it incorrectly, right? So I kind of wrestled with it, not because of that, but because I grew up with my grandmother's name as my middle name, and she also has a very unique name. She was named after someone. And that middle name, I never had a connection to it. Even though it was my grandmother's, but my relationship with my grandmother wasn't like your normal relationship that a lot of people have with their grandmas. You know, like my grandmother had gone through a lot. She had raised like 9 kids, and just we would go to my grandmother's house. My grandmother was sick a lot. My mom would help take care of her and stuff. So I didn't have a super close relationship with my grandma. I love my grandma, but you know, if my grandma wasn't in the kitchen baking cookies and like shit, she was very quiet. And I think she was struggling with depression, honestly, for most of her life. For most of the time that I knew her growing up. Now, I did grow up at my grandmother's house from like the time I was born till my mom got married when I was 4. So my grandmother and like 2 of my aunts kind of like raised us while my mom worked, my brother and I. Anyway, so once we moved like out and my mom got married, like we would go see my grandma all the time. Go see her. My mom had a good relationship with her mom. But however, I didn't really have a like granddaughter relationship with my grandma. You know, like I didn't sit and talk to her. Like we'd hug her and say, "Hi, grandma," and then we were kids, we'd go off and play. And I'm trying to think of when my grandmother passed away. I don't remember how old I was. I think I was probably a teenager. But anyway, like I said, I didn't really have a connection to the name. And when I would tell people my middle name, I hated it when people would ask me my middle name, because like I tell them and they would be like, "What does that mean?" Like they would try to say it and they'd be like, "Oh, interesting. Oh, that's a pretty name." But I felt like we have been pronouncing that name incorrectly for quite a while. I think that it has Spanish roots. So my grandmother was named after like a nurse that helped my great grandmother give birth to her. But I think they've been pronouncing it wrong. So the way that we pronounce it, it's just, it's different. It's just very different. So I don't want my daughter to have those feelings like, oh, she never knew her grandmother, but she has her middle name. And maybe she would not reject it or resent it. Like I never rejected or resented it. I just never felt it. I just never had a connection to it, if that makes sense. It wasn't like if my mom gave me my own middle name and I was like, yes, this is my middle name and it means this. Like I don't even know what it means. And people always ask me what my middle name means. I don't know. And so my mom's name doesn't have a really like, the meaning is so, if I told you what it was, it's just so, it's like, it means nothing, honestly. It doesn't have much of a meaning. Because it's the meaning of my grandfather's name. And that is just like one word that doesn't mean anything reflecting on a person's character or anything. So, I don't know, I kind of thought about that. But anyway, so at the funeral, one of my mom's friends just started talking about like names and how she talked about her, I think one of her daughters has one of her, either her or one of her daughters has like a grandmother's middle name for their first name for their middle name. And she just was talking about like the legacy and how that person that the name came from, like that, how great that person was. And just like, so the things that she was saying, it just really, it hit me in my heart, because we had just, I started thinking about my mom, and I'm like, even though my daughter won't know her grandmother, I will tell her about how great my mom was. And she was a great woman. She really was. And so that's what her name is going to mean. It's going to mean all the characteristics and wonderful things that I know about my mother that I can pass down and share to my daughter. And so I decided that I was going to use her name, because I fought so hard with like deciding that. And I wish that I had decided it before my mom passed, because I did tell her the first name and I said, we haven't decided on a middle name yet. And I wish I would have told her that it was going to be her name, but I didn't, because I was still fighting with that. And actually, she passed away before I could even, like, make that decision. And I thought I had a little more time that she'd be there if I did choose it, but anyway, so it's gonna be that. But then also, I will tell you this part of her name. So she'll have the first name, my mom's name, and then I wanted her to have her own middle name. So this was kind of another thing my husband and I went back and forth about. I want her to have two middle names. I want her to have my mom's name, and I want her to have her own. And so Grace is going to be the other middle name, which is the only name I'll tell you guys is that, Grace. I'm adding that into the name. So she will have her first name, two middle names. My husband doesn't want her to have two middle names. He thinks it's too much. But I'm like, no one ever really has to talk about their middle names. Like, it's rare that I've ever had to tell anyone my middle name. Sometimes friends will ask, but it's not, I don't even know most of my friends' middle names. I've never asked them that. But a mutual friend of my husband and I, when I told her the name that I was picking, we were talking like a couple weeks ago. She came to the restaurant that my husband works at, and we were chit-chatting, and I was saying, yeah, she asked, so did you pick a name? And I said, I did, but my husband's kind of like, doesn't like that I'm giving her two middle names. But I didn't tell my husband, I didn't tell my husband what the second middle name is. I only told him that I wanted to do a second one. I'm waiting till she's born, and then I'm just going to tell him, this is the name. Like, that's it. Like, I think at that point he won't make a big deal out of it, because he did actually have a little bit of an issue with me using my mom's name, because he felt it was too, like, difficult of a name. I'm like, it's not a difficult name. So, we got past that. But then I brought up that I wanted to do two middle names, and he was like, oh, like, I'm pregnant with this little girl, and I have waited so long for a girl. I'm doing it. We gave our son his dad's name as the middle name. I'm like, so you shouldn't even have anything to say about it. Anyway, so back to the friend. The friend told me that she had two middle names. So I was like, oh, okay. She said it's not a big deal. She's like, it's not a big deal. She's like, and then she told me the name. She said, it's very unique. And it is very unique. Her middle names are very unique. I'm like, oh, okay. Very old. She's like, they're my grandmother's names and stuff like that. It's a thing, Some people have two grandmother's names. But, I can't use my husband's mom's name for hers, because my mom's name and my mother-in-law's name rhyme. They rhyme. So it actually would be weird. Because I thought about it. I was like, oh, maybe I'll put them together. But I was like, no, it's weird. If we have another girl, we'll probably use her name. My mother-in-law's name is the middle name. But anyway, so that's kind of where we're at with the name. I do like the way that it sounds. I think it's very pretty. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you guys won't get to hear the name, because I'll probably just call her by a nickname that's irrelevant to what her actual name is. I mean, even though my son, I don't think I've ever mentioned his name. I think we just call him by his initials. I might have said it one time, but it's not that huge of a deal to me. But I just want to maintain some type of privacy, because I'm not doing these videos for the public. I'm doing them for me, and I'm just sharing them. And people that happen to see them, if they connect with it in some way, it's great. I'm just sharing my journey. But anyway, it's getting kind of late. I need to finish my lunch, and I got some things I need to do. I think tomorrow I will probably share my little cart that I made. I don't know if people want to see that. I don't know if it matters, but anyway, pray for me, because I am definitely ready to have this girl. I want her to come out. Not too early. I know. It's like I'm 37 weeks tomorrow. And, you want your babies to stay in as long as possible, and they'll come when they come. But it's hot, you guys. I want my body back. One of my friends announced yesterday that she was 42 weeks, and she's like in her late 30s. I'm like, she needs to be evicted, because she's having a girl too. I'm like, your baby needs to be evicted. It's pretty much a hostage situation at that point. If they go past 40 weeks, like, you need to come out. So I don't want that. I'm hoping not. My midwife, and even my OB, they were like, We'd be surprised if you make it past 38 weeks. We'll be surprised if we make it even to 37 weeks, but because I had my first so early. I mean, hey, if I make it to 40 and she comes, I just don't want to go past 40. I don't want to go past 40. That's like 3 weeks. It's already too long. Pregnancy is already just too long in general, like 9 months of this. 40 weeks, I should say, 40 weeks of pregnancy. Guys, and when you have a toddler, it's different if I was no toddler. I think I'd be fine. I was like, how come I couldn't have went to 40 weeks with my first pregnancy when I was just like, you know, working and just chilling at home, coming home and just putting my feet up and relaxing. Oh my gosh, I relaxed so much when I was pregnant with him. And then she could have been the one that came early. But anyway, I am going to eat. But that is all I have to share today.